Well, today my dad's come to visit. He's hired this. Let's have a talk about it. So you may well be wondering why on earth we've got an AutoTrail 6 metre long F62 on our driveway. Well, my dad has been thinking about getting a motorhome for a little while. We talked through campervans, talked through motorhomes, so all of the usual conversation that you tend to have. So pop-top camper van, should it be a panel van conversion, so a bigger van? Should it be a motorhome? Will he like it at all? And on that basis, we persuaded him to hire one. So this is the first time he's ever been away in a motorhome. We'll ask for his honest opinion later when he gives us a bit of a test drive of it. And I thought, while it's here, it's actually worthy of a quick look round because this is a 6 metre van. So it's the same length as the van we've got on order, the Westfalia Svenheddin, based on the MAN TGE 6 metre van. So Volkswagen Crafter 6 metre. It's a really popular size. And we thought, what does that extra width, so this kind of extra bump here, when you look down the side profile, this is obviously based on a Transit, when you look down the side profile, what does that extra width actually get you? Is it worth having this motorhome bit rather than a panel van bit? So we're going to do a quick tour around, have a quick look at it, see what we think. I'll show you all the features and the kind of the way that it is laid out inside and everything, and then we're going to go for a bit of a drive. My dad's got to drive it because he's the one who's insured, but that does give us a chance to ask for his honest opinion of what he thinks of it. So let's start the tour. Okay, let's have a quick look in the cab area then. For those of you who haven't seen inside one of the modern Transits, bearing in mind this is a 2023 model, so this is as up to date as they get in Transit world. So fairly kind of scratchy plastic on the door here, it has to be said, but good quality though, in terms of, you know, it all feels pretty solid and everything. Very usual Ford switchgear. Got good cup holders and bottle storage and all that kind of thing. Nice kind of deep dash pockets. There's actually a rubber mat in it, believe it or not. Volkswagen, take note, there's a rubber mat in there. This actually feels a little bit rubbery. It's got quite a nice kind of texture to it. Obviously decent sized glove box as well. Just going over, this one's an automatic. I think this is a 130. They do two versions of the Transit. I think it's a 177 and a 130. I think this is the 130. I will double check and pop it on the screen for you. This has got this different radio and sat-nav unit in it as well. That's part of a pack, I think, that you can buy. Is it a Lux pack or something like that, which gives you that. Basically, it allows you to use CarPlay and have a nice big screen in the middle. So that's quite useful. Lots of cubbies at the top, 12 volt over the other side. No digital dashboard or anything in this one, just a normal style dash. And the interior upholstery in the front here anyway, we'll have a look at the back in a bit. This is kind of I'm not sure whether that's leather or PVC, but it's got some fabric on the middle as well. And obviously they've branded it themselves for AutoTrail too. So in the cab area at the top, obviously we'll do this from the inside. There's a big skylight at the top there, as you can see. Plenty of space to be able to stand up between the seats and walk through. And obviously then you've got a little bit of a storage shelf at the top here, and then another one above that as well. So pretty standard fare really. If you're used to this kind of size of van, obviously got cruise control and the other bits and pieces. It's got lane assist and things on this too. So yeah, pretty standard fare really. I think one thing I hadn't appreciated was just how massive these wing mirrors are. And I'm not talking about this bit necessarily, I'm talking about this bit. Because obviously they've got to come out past this extra piece here. I know it sounds obvious for anyone who's had a motorhome, but that really, they really do stick out a long way. And when I was out with my dad yesterday in this, just taking me for a quick drive, you realise the extra width. It's really quite a wide van compared to a normal camper van. So handbrake, which is a fly-off handbrake, so you probably saw that went down then. So again, it goes back down. That's useful for turning the seats around, of course. And then, as I was saying, just standard dashboard and standard forward steering wheel, etc. Seats do have nice armrests, which is good, both sides, makes them a bit more comfortable. And in true Ford style, this has also got a heated windscreen, which is very handy for those cold mornings. Right, let's get on to the business end of things and let's have a quick walk around the outside of all the services on the outside, then let's do the inside. Right, let's have a quick wander around this Ford Transit based AutoTrail F62. So on the sides here we've got first kind of motorhoming part of this. This is a whale adapter, so that's where your hookup goes. So sliding adapters rather than anything else. That's where your water inlet is. Water outlet at the bottom there. These cupboards, if you haven't seen them before, you press these buttons in. I've unlocked all of these ready for this. This is obviously sealed because it's your gas compartment, and then you've got your outside vent inside there. 2 6-kilogram gas bottles, no auto changeover or anything like that on here, so just quite a bog standard setup. Close that up, and then in here we've got toilet cassette, normal Thetford as you would imagine, no ventilation or anything like that for it in particular, so again just a normal Thetford setup on that one. Just wandering around the back, nothing particularly worthy of note here, apart from obviously you've got a couple of fuel mounting bars for an optional bike rack. My dad didn't worry about anything like that. It has got a reversing camera at the top there. And then this is where things get slightly different to your average panel van conversion. If I can open this, because you end up with these kind of compartments for storage. So this is underneath at the back. You've obviously got space in here for your chairs and other bits and pieces and outdoor table and things, but it's not very deep. If you can see back there, that's the back panel for it, so you're not going to get nice big recliner chairs or anything like that in there. Barbecue gas point, very nice. Normal habitation door, so that's actually on the UK side, which is quite nice. Obviously got a fold out step, which is electric, and down here one more little storage compartment. Oh, these can be a bit of a pain when you've only got one hand. Sorry about this. There we go. And then inside there, as you can see, space for levelling chocks, power cable, etc. So it's pretty much the features. Standard windows on these, so caravan style windows. When you look down the side you can see they're not flush fitting, they kind of sit on the outside, so they do make a little bit of noise when you drive along, and obviously an outside light at the top there, so no warning or anything like that on this one. Just a fairly standard specification. Okay, so in here things start to look different straight away. So on the inside of the door, got a bin, which is quite handy. Umbrella, very nice, very handy. Little kind of storage pocket there. Obviously it's got a window, so you need a blind for it. So you got that there. There is a fly screen, so you can have your door open, which is again really quite handy. So let's go on in, and if we start at the back, you can see the internal layout of this. So this is a rear kitchen and bathroom layout. You've got in here obviously the normal kitchen on the right hand side here. You've got an oven in this one, no microwave, just an oven, and then in here you've got 3 burners. You've got a really decent sized sink. Obviously you've got your normal blinds and window arrangement there. All of this looks quite nice in here. Obviously sockets up there, loads of storage cupboards. This is like a normal kitchen really. Loads of glasses and other bits and pieces in there. You've got your table in there, which comes out for when you want to sit on the sofas and eat in the evenings. Lots and lots and lots of storage everywhere, so loads and loads to to go at. Really big fridge, which also has a decent sized freezer box as well, which is always very handy. So that's good. In here, lots more storage again, and then up here you've got all of your controls. So you've got all of the power controls, turning the pump on and off. It's got an electric bed, which I'll show you in a minute, so that's there as well. Heating controls and all that stuff. All right, let's have a look in here. Now, one of the advantages of a bigger van is the fact that you get that little bit more space in here. So when you look at this toilet and washroom, you've got obviously a normal Thetford toilet in there, kind of as you'd expect. Obviously you've got a bit of storage in here as well, which is quite nice actually. Separate little sink, which again, it's not one of your little fold out things or anything like that. It's actually quite a nice size sink. A bit more storage underneath. But then look at this shower cubicle at the back. That is an enormous shower cubicle really, when you consider what you'd normally get in a normal panel van conversion rather than a motorhome. So yeah, really sizable in there. Obviously got a vent at the top as well, but it just shows you that where that extra space really starts to come. In here we've got a really decent size wardrobe, hanging rail, and again loads of storage underneath here as well. So again, loads of space just at the bottom. It's got loads and loads of cupboard space, which brings us nicely to what we've got at the front here. So this is a 2-berth, although it's kind of a 4-berth, which is a bit strange. So 2 seats at the front, obviously, 2 belted seats. So you've got the ability to carry 2 passengers, 1 passenger with the driver in here. So you can't take 4 people, 3 people, etc. Just for 2 people. And you've got an option, because you can either make up this bed at the bottom and it folds flat and you can sleep down at the bottom, or you've got this. And this is a bed which is motorised and comes down. So you see these metal tracks here? There's one of those on either side. And the way this works is you press this button at the back, and then this happens. So, ta-da! You've got your bed. Now this bed has a ladder which clips on just here. So you coming into bed. Obviously you take this take this string down. That's just there so it makes sure that this all collapses appropriately when you're upstairs. So yeah, you unclip all of this, and then you've got this fantastic bed space, and it's absolutely huge. I mean, that's a fantastic size bed, which comes down. Good size mattress. You've also got slatted bed base, wooden slatted bed base as well, and you can almost see the TV from it too. So there is a TV in here too. I'm just going to pop this back away. There is a safety net too, of course, if you've got children or anything like that in there. So just pop this away. It's a little noisy, as you can probably hear. So let's just pop that back away. All the way to the top. Now, one thing which is worth bearing in mind, obviously that's covered up one of the skylights because it's a big bed base, basically. But there is this nice LED surrounded kind of mirrored panel, which does help a little bit with that, because obviously you've got normal windows on either sides, which is quite nice. The other thing which is quite handy in here is the fact that they've got this massive great skylight at the front here, which again does have blinds and all of that stuff. Really nice lighting and things in here. Again, storage pockets on either side. It's good. I can't tell you how much storage there is in here. It's absolutely enormous. And then obviously you've got storage underneath this bed area too. So really, I think from a layout point of view, it's actually quite a nice universal layout. Yes, you haven't got a massive rear kind of horseshoe shaped sofa. Some people like that layout, but it's a balance for 2 people where you might have just a couple of you sitting down, eating dinner off a table, Then you want to put the bed out. Bed's kind of hidden away, you can drop it down, which is quite cool. And then you've got that massive shower toilet area at the back, decent sized kitchen. You can cook food outside or out the way of sitting in the normal seating area at the front here. I must admit, I quite like this layout. I think it's pretty decent. I'm trying to think of downsides to this layout. It's probably the fact that if one of you's in that drop down bed and the other one wants to sit and have a coffee or something in the morning, you're going to struggle to do that. That could be tricky. I think pretty much apart from that though, it's a pretty decent layout. I think it's a good compromise, especially considering this is still only 6 meters long. The question is, would you want a van which is this wide? So far, so good. Quality-wise, inside here, it's pretty decent, has to be said. Everything feels pretty solid. It doesn't feel like a cheaply made van or anything like that. It feels pretty decent. I think we need to take it for a drive, see what it's like out on the road, and then we will come to a bit of a conclusion. Need to see what my dad thinks as well. Is this the one for him? Right, let's go for a bit of a drive. Right, so here we go then. This is the AutoTrail F62, and well, it's not the most quiet of vehicles, I would have said. And as you can see from the front here, those wing mirrors are huge. It just gives you a sense of how wide this is. And when you look in the wing mirror, you can see that bulge of the side, that extra width of the van. So if you haven't driven a motorhome before, it does feel a little different. And well, let me change this camera view, and then we'll have a bit of a chat about it. Right, so I am privileged today because my dad has come down, as I said, from Scotland, driving this motorhome, 400 miles to get here. And well, what do you think?
It's different, for sure. It's a bit like driving a van with a house on the back. It's a new experience for me, put it that way.
Yeah. It's difficult to explain. Obviously, we're just driving along. I'm sure you can hear a bit of the noise in the background, but it's very different. And as a passenger, I haven't driven this, but as a passenger, it's very different to the Grand California that we borrowed. We've been out in a Sven Hedin. That's very different. It's, silent basically. If you've got a California at the moment or a normal pop-top camper of any kind, this is a world away in terms of refinement, driving-wise, noise-wise. You can hear. I mean, we're just going through a normal country village, and well, to say it's noisy is an understatement. And that's not just a bit of cutlery in a cutlery drawer. It's that bed at the top's rattling like crazy, actually. And yeah. And you were saying that on the way down, you've been through a load of wind and rain and everything else.
Yeah, I've found it. I've certainly found it very tiring, I suppose is the word really, to drive, because every time you go past a lorry or every time a car goes past you, you're constantly having to adjust the steering slightly.
Right.
And the steering is reasonably heavy, and it means I have to constantly moving it about. And I do have arthritis, and my right wrist is quite painful after a lot of motorway driving. Mind you, that is after probably 200 miles or so. So yeah. It's a fair way, but it's quite a challenge to drive it for sure.
And power-wise, like to drive, and the gearbox and everything, is it all right?
Yeah, the power. It's got plenty of power. It'll go along at 70 miles an hour on the motorway, no problem at all in cruise control. It's fine for doing that. That's okay.
Yeah. But it doesn't like it. You were saying to me that its natural speed is more like 60, 65. When you start going above that, everything starts to really feel a bit light and noisy and
when you
and thirsty as well.
When you go up hills on the motorway, certainly in Cumbria and places like that, then it'll drop down a gear to maintain the speed.
Okay. Yeah.
But the gearbox is a little bit lumpy. I wouldn't say it's as smooth as my car.
Okay.
But It's not too bad. You don't really notice it. It's
You've
fine.
got a modern Touran, haven't you, gearbox wise? So the normal DSG box that you get on the Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as that, but
No, not quite.
Yeah.
No, but it's adequate. It's fine. It's fine.
and a bit thirsty, you said. So in all that wind and rain, and everything, what was it doing? 25 mpg?
25,
or so?
27. Yes.
So you can basically see the needle moving as you're driving along.
Yes, my wallet took a hit when I filled it up, especially on the motorway.
What was it, 185 or something? Oh dear.
It was 165 everywhere else, I think. But anyway.
So the $1 million question then is, would you buy this motorhome?
No.
But is that because of what it is, as in this particular one, or do you just think after having one for a few days, actually the whole motorhoming thing's just not really for you, and you'd rather have someone else do the bed for you and the hotel and all that kind of stuff? Nothing wrong with that.
I think at my
individual thing.
I think at my age, this is sort of like glorified camping, if you like. You know, the bed comes down fine. It's a nice bed, but I have to clamber up a little ladder, which is the rungs are quite thin on it, and without any shoes and socks on, it's a bit painful on your feet.
Yeah.
And you're banging your head on the ceiling. You know, it's a bit cramped as far as that's concerned. But once you're in bed, it's fine. It's fine then.
But you're saying the noise on the roof from the rain and things was quite loud as well.
Yeah. Mind you, we had got a named storm just gone through.
Yes, we did. Yeah, that's true. Perfect time to hire a motorhome in autumn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe the whole campervanning, motorhoming thing isn't the right thing for you.
No, I don't think it is. You know, this is why I've hired this motorhome,
Exactly.
just to try it really,
Exactly.
and see how I get on.
And I think that's the moral of the story. So this isn't really a video about this AutoTrail, because it will suit some people perfectly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is more of a point of this video is hire, if you can, hire whatever model it is that you're thinking of getting, hire it.
Yes.
Because if you can, then it will give you a real taste of what you're in for. We hired a California before we first got a California. You can hire Grand Californias. You know, there's plenty of motorhome hire companies out there. So just make sure you hire if you're thinking about getting one, because you never know. You know, when you book this, you were genuinely in the mind of, this could be a really good thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, touring around,
Sure.
you live in Scotland, you've got loads of scenery up there you could explore. But actually, after having one for a few days, you've realised it's not quite right for you, and actually better to do Airbnb or hotels or that kind of thing, and drive around in a nice quiet car instead.
Yeah.
So,
I never really was a camper, you know. You know, we never did any camping as kids or whatever. So it's something that I've never done. So it's I know this is not camping, far from it, but at my age, it still feels a bit like camping.
Yeah.
I like my luxury. I like my little luxuries, I think.
So that is the AutoTrail F62, and more importantly, that is my dad's review of the AutoTrail F62, and it just shows hiring is so important if you're thinking about spending a really big amount of money on a van. You're thinking about that dream life of campervanning, motorhoming. Make sure you try it first if you possibly can. I know it's expensive to hire them. It's really, really worthwhile though, because as my dad found out, actually, after spending a bit of time with this, he didn't really enjoy it. And that's not really the fault of the van. I think that's more the concept of motorhoming and campervanning. So give it a try. Make sure you can hire one if you possibly can, ideally of the exact model that you're thinking about. That would be brilliant if you can do that. Gives you an opportunity just to see what you think. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. Please do consider subscribing to the channel. Please like this video if it's been helpful in any way. And we'll see you again soon for some more Campervan Time.